Welcome to Think Outside the Box, a deep dive.
Yeah.
And happy Valentine's Day to all our listeners out there. We're part of Teacher Victoria's ESL class. And for today's deep dive, we're going to be looking at a short story
Oh, cool.
called The Boy on the Beach by R.M. Neko. It's a story about love,
Oh, yeah.
fate, and personal growth. And as always, if you have any questions for Teacher Victoria about this class or the story, feel free to send her a message. So without further ado, let's dive in.
Sounds good to me.
So we're introduced to a young Petri Alexandru Sturza,
Okay.
who's 10 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and he's kind of navigating this
Yeah.
difficult family dynamic. His parents, Sebastian and Cecilia, they're not really getting along,
Right.
and he feels very much caught in the middle of all of this.
I see.
And then enters Iolana.
Oh.
She's a guest at a family gathering, and she becomes super important to Petri.
Okay, interesting. How so?
Well, she represents everything that he's kind of yearning for, like stability.
Yeah.
A genuine connection, someone who really sees him. His own family just doesn't seem to be able to provide that for him.
I see. I see.
There's this really poignant scene around a bonfire where this is really illustrated. Everyone else is kind of caught up in their own drama, and Iolana just focuses on Petri. She listens to him.
Yeah,
She validates his feelings. It's a very powerful moment for him.
absolutely. So how does this, relationship progress?
Well, it kind of culminates in this, I guess you could call it a grand but childish proposal
Okay.
from Petri to Iolana.
Oh, wow.
He offers her this seashell ring.
Oh.
He's just pouring his heart out, with such innocence.
Right.
It's very endearing, but also kind of heartbreaking.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But Iolana kind of, in her, wisdom, she very gently explains to him that marriage is for grown-ups,
Okay.
people who've had time to figure themselves out.
Makes sense.
So it's not really a rejection. It's more like a redirection. And she introduces him to this concept of the red string of fate. Have you ever heard of this?
I think I have, but I don't really remember. Can you refresh my memory?
Yeah, so it's this ancient belief that there's this invisible thread connecting two souls
Oh, okay.
that are
Yeah.
destined to be together.
Okay, I think I've heard of that before.
Yeah. And it's this idea that the string, it can't be broken, but it can stretch and tangle,
Okay.
kind of symbolizing the importance of personal growth,
I see.
timing, and the journey itself. So it's not just about finding the person on the other end of the string. It's about becoming the best version of yourself along the way.
That's a really interesting concept. So what happens next?
So this idea really sets the stage for Petri's journey over the next 15 years.
Wow.
He throws himself into basketball.
Hmm.
He finds this kind of solace and control in the sport.
Mm-hmm.
He travels the world, expanding his horizons,
Yeah.
shaping his character. And all the while, he's got this memory of Iolana and that red string kind of pulling at him. It's almost like this driving force pushing him to be better,
Yeah,
to live a life worthy of that connection.
that's powerful.
But then there's a twist.
Oh, what happens?
Petri returns to Constantine Island 15 years later after his father's death,
Okay.
seeking closure, trying to understand his family's past.
Right.
And his mother drops a bomb on him.
What? What is it?
She reveals the truth about Iolana and how her arrival on the island
Okay.
was actually orchestrated by Petri's aunt Helena,
What?
who had her own agenda.
Okay, I did not see that coming.
Yeah, so Helena, who always disapproved of Petri's mother,
Mm-hmm.
she saw Iolana as the perfect match for Sebastian.
Oh, wow.
She thought it would elevate their family's status and essentially replace Cecilia.
So Iolana was like unknowingly a part of this whole scheme.
Exactly. But once she realized what Helena was up to,
Yeah.
she was horrified.
Yeah.
She never intended to cause any harm or come between Petri's parents.
Right.
In fact, she made this incredibly selfless decision
Oh, wow.
to leave the island to protect Petri's family from further turmoil.
So she became like a silent guardian.
Yeah, essentially,
Mm-hmm.
shielding them from more heartache.
Wow, that's incredible.
And it really speaks volumes about her character and her integrity. And the fact that Petri's mother reveals this after all these years,
Mm-hmm.
it adds another layer to their relationship.
Yeah.
She's finally acknowledging Iolana's compassion
Yeah.
and the burden she carries.
So this changes everything for Petri.
Right. He's been carrying this idealized image of Iolana for years.
Yeah.
And now the truth is much more nuanced.
Absolutely.
It forces him to confront not only his past, but also his understanding of love,
Mm-hmm.
fate, and the complexities of human relationships.
Yeah.
But what about the red string?
Right.
How does this new information affect that concept?
That's where it gets really interesting. The red string of fate, which initially seemed like, a straightforward path to destined love,
Yeah.
now takes on this whole new meaning. It's no longer just about finding Iolana. It's about understanding the journey itself.
Mm-hmm.
The growth and self-discovery that have led him to this point.
So it becomes more personal.
Exactly.
More about his own evolution than some preordained meeting.
Right.
Right. But this is only part of the story.
Yeah.
To see how this all unfolds,
Yeah.
we'll have to delve into the next part of our deep dive.
Definitely. I can't wait to see where this goes next.
And if you're following along with Teacher Victoria's ESL class, be sure to share your thoughts and questions with her.
Absolutely. And don't forget, you can always reach out to Teacher Victoria if you have any questions.
We'll be back soon with more of Petrie's captivating tale.
See you then.
It's crazy how the story shifts from this childhood romance to this, deeper exploration of self-discovery.
Right.
And the impact of the choices made by others,
Yeah.
Petrie's journey wasn't just shaped by Ilana, but by his family.
Yeah.
Especially the dynamic between Cecilia and Helena. That's true. It really adds another layer to the story, showing how, outside forces can influence our path sometimes without us even realizing it.
Exactly. And the fact that Iolana was caught in the middle of this family feud,
Right.
it makes her character even more tragic.
I know, it's like she was used as a pawn in a game she didn't even know she was playing.
Exactly.
And her decision to leave, to remove herself from the situation,
Yeah.
speaks volumes about her character.
Absolutely.
She chose to protect not only herself, but Petrie and his family from more pain.
It was a selfless act that really resonates throughout the story, don't you think?
Totally. It highlights how our choices, even the difficult ones, can have a lasting impact
Yeah.
on others.
For sure, Iolana's choice, while hard,
Right.
had a profound effect on Petrie's life, even in her absence.
Absolutely. It
Yeah.
shaped his perception of love, fate, even the red string. But where does this leave Petrie now? He's uncovered this hidden truth. He's grown into a man shaped by his experiences, and the red string is still pulling at him. What's his next move?
Well, the story ends with this sense of anticipation. Petrie realizes he needs to find Iolana, not to rekindle a childhood romance,
Right?
but to acknowledge her impact and share his own journey with her. He understands that she deserves to know the truth, to be released from the burden of their family's past.
It's like he wants to honor her sacrifice.
Yes.
Acknowledge the ripple effects of her actions.
Yeah,
There's
yes.
a real sense of closure and gratitude there.
Precisely. And the ending leaves us with this image of the red string tightening, suggesting Petrie is ready to follow wherever it leads. It's a powerful symbol of his determination to reconnect with Iolana and finally understand the full extent of their shared destiny.
It sounds like the story's come full circle, but with a deeper understanding of the characters and what has shaped their lives. The red string, once a symbol of romantic destiny, now represents a journey of self-discovery, forgiveness, and the enduring power of human connection.
Right.
It makes you think about the choices we make and how they ripple outward, impacting not just ourselves, but others as well.
Absolutely.
Right.
And it leaves us with the thought-provoking question. What will happen when Petrie finally finds Iolana? Will their paths converge as he's always believed? Or will the red string lead them in unexpected directions?
It's a cliffhanger that encourages us to reflect on our own experiences with love, fate, and relationships. It reminds us that even brief encounters can leave a lasting impact, shaping who we become and the choices we make. And for those of you listening as part of Teacher Victoria's ESL class, I encourage you to discuss these themes with her and explore your own interpretations of The Boy on the Beach.
Yeah.
If you have any questions, don't forget to message Teacher Victoria.
It's a story that offers so much to think about and discuss. What stood out to you? What parts resonated with your own experiences?
Before we wrap up our deep dive into The Boy on the Beach, I want to go back to that idea of the red string of fate.
Okay.
It's such a central part of the story,
Yeah.
and it just seems open to so much interpretation.
Yeah, you're right. It's interesting how it changes throughout the story. At first, it seems like a simple symbol of destined love. Two souls connected by an unbreakable thread.
Yeah.
But as Petrie grows up and the truth about Iolana comes out, the red string starts to mean something deeper.
Totally. It becomes less about finding that one person and more about the connections we make,
Right.
the choices we make, and how those choices shape our path
Yeah.
and the paths of those around us.
It's like the story acknowledges that we have free will,
Yeah.
but we're also part of a larger story.
Mm-hmm.
And our choices affect not just ourselves, but others in ways we may never fully understand.
I love that the story doesn't shy away from those complexities
Yeah.
of fate and free will.
Mm.
And that's where personal growth comes in.
Right.
Iolana tells young Petrie that the red string isn't just about finding another person.
Yeah.
It's about self-discovery.
Right.
All the experiences he has, the people he meets,
Mm-hmm.
the challenges he overcomes,
Yeah.
they all contribute to his evolution and prepare him for what lies ahead.
That's a great point.
So the red string becomes this reminder that we're constantly growing and evolving.
Right.
Our destinies aren't set in stone.
No.
They're unfolding narratives shaped by things both inside and outside of ourselves.
Exactly.
And this brings us back to Iolana's sacrifice.
Yeah.
Her decision to leave the island to protect Petrie and his family from more pain
Mm-hmm.
shows how much she understands the true meaning of the red string.
Right.
She knew staying would only cause more harm.
Yeah.
Sometimes the most loving act is letting go.
It really is. Her choice was a testament to her compassion
Yeah.
and a powerful example of how love can take many forms.
Right.
Iolana's love for Petrie wasn't possessive or romantic.
Mhm.
It was about understanding empathy, wanting him to grow, even if it meant being apart.
And I think that's one of the most beautiful parts of the story.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that even brief encounters can profoundly impact our lives.
Right.
That sometimes the most meaningful connections are the ones that challenge us to grow, to learn to become more compassionate.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But of course, the story leaves us hanging. Before we know what happens when Petrie finally finds Iolana,
Yeah.
the red string tightens, and we're left with that feeling of anticipation
Yeah.
and a lot of questions.
It's like the story invites us to imagine our own endings.
Yeah.
What do you think happens next? Does Petrie find Iolana and get a sense of closure?
Yeah.
Or does that red string lead them in unexpected directions?
Well, who knows? I guess that's the beauty of it. It's up to us to decide.
That's right.
The beauty of a story like this is that it leaves us with something to think about, to ponder those different possibilities.
Yeah.
The Boy on the Beach encourages us to consider how our lives intersect, the threads that connect us, the enduring power of human connection.
And for those of you listening as part of Teacher Victoria's ESL class, I encourage you to share your thoughts and interpretations.
Yeah.
What did you find most interesting? What questions did this story raise for you? Don't be afraid to think outside the box.
And if you have any questions about the story or the class, don't hesitate to reach out to Teacher Victoria.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into The Boy on the Beach. And to all our listeners out there, happy Valentine's Day.